Hello everyone, it's Sandra and welcome to today's video. Today we're talking about one of my favorite topics in makeup land, and that is base products. If you've been following me for a while, you will know that my makeup kryptonite is foundation, and I've tried quite a few base products in my day. It's just one of my favorite products to buy and try. So today I thought I would round up my top 5 favorite base products for the summertime. They're lightweight, they have light coverage, but they also wear nicely throughout the day. I have combination oily skin, teetering towards more on the oily side this time of year, and it's been a struggle finding a product that gives me a beautiful, fresh, dewy, natural look, but doesn't make me look like a grease ball after 2 hours. But have no fear. The 5 products I'm going to be sharing with you today tick all the boxes. The main takeaway is that none of these break down all weird on my skin, and none of them make me more oily. Now, of course, this is my personal experience with these products, and your experience might be different. So as always, take the advice of strangers on the internet with a grain of salt, but I thought I would share with you my favorites because I love every single one of these products, and I'm excited to round them up and share them with you. I did try and do skin swatches for all of them, so you can kind of see a before and after, and you can kind of gauge what the product does on my skin when I just apply it all on its own. And yeah, let's get started. I'll start from lightest coverage on to more coverage. So first on the docket, we have Chanel Water Fresh Tint. I think the official name is, the Chanel Le Beige Water Fresh Tint. Le Beige is Chanel's summer collection name. They do it every single year. And this water tint really took me by surprise. I didn't expect to fall in love with it as much as I did. It is a beautiful, beautiful product. It has barely there coverage. I wouldn't even really call it light coverage. It's like just under light coverage. It literally just gives a slight tint to the face. I use the shade medium. This foundation is available in 8 different colors, I believe. I'm going to take little screenshots of the shades available for each of the products that I'm going to talk about, just so you have a wider frame of reference. It's super lightweight, but since this is a product I mostly reach for in the summertime, shade medium matches me. If I try to use this in the wintertime, it's like a little bit too dark, but like I mentioned, summertime, this is a summertime base for me, so medium is great for me in the summertime, and I can get a solid 4 or 5 hours before I will need to just blot my T-zone just a little bit. In the skin swatches that you're going to be seeing on the screen, since I am using some artificial light, I'm using a mix of natural light and artificial light, and sometimes that can make me look a lot more shiny on camera than I am in real life. So I do use a little bit of translucent powder in the T-zone just to knock back that shine so it's not so distracting. The powder that I'm using has no additional coverage or anything like that. I do have to set this with powder, and I do have to blot it after about 4 or 5 hours, but even after blotting, it still looks really good. It just makes my skin look better than it is, but it doesn't look like I'm wearing anything. It's the perfect good skin day product for me. Like if I don't have any breakouts, if I'm really happy with my skin, I can just throw this on and feel really good. My favorite method of application is fingers, 2 pumps, spread it out on my fingers, and then just massage it into the skin, and it's good to go. This does come with a little brush, but the brush isn't, I didn't enjoy using that to apply it. So fingers is the way forward for me with this. Next up, we have the Trinny London BFF Tinted Serum. I use this in the shade Binky. Gives me a very similar finish to the Chanel water tint, but it has a bit more coverage. This has, again, this beautiful ability to make my skin just look really fresh, and it's very undetectable on the skin. It has this really beautiful dewy finish. I definitely think this is a product that's suitable for all skin types. I believe this is available in 12 shades, And like I mentioned, I use the shade Binky. Again, I love to apply this with fingers. I just take about 1 pump. I like to spread it around my fingertips and then massage it onto the skin. Sometimes I add in another half a pump, maybe another full pump, and I try to build it up in some areas, but I think it really shines on its own in a thin layer, and then maybe just spot concealing certain areas if need be. But again, just like the Chanel water tint, I do have to set it with powder, and I do have to blot it after about 4 or 5 hours, but after blotting it, it still looks fresh. Since I am more on the oily side in the summertime, I tend to travel with blotting sheets anyway. My favorite blotting sheets, if you care, are the Tatcha ones. I always have one of these in my bag. I would rather just blot the oil away and have my base still looking nice and fresh underneath than having to do too much powder. I found that especially as I'm getting older, my face just can't handle as much powder as it used to, which is why it's really important for me to find base products that don't get disturbed when my oils come through, and that I can just blot away the oils and the foundation still looks amazing underneath. So that's the case for all the products that I'm going to be talking about today. So yeah, Trinny London BFF Serum is kind of like a step up in coverage from the Chanel, but still gives that really beautiful, fresh, dewy glow. Definitely suitable for all skin types. If you're kind of like intimidated by all the glow and you still want a lightweight, you want to start dabbling into the world of tinted moisturizers, but you have combination oily skin and you want more of like just like a natural skin finish, the Nars Pure Radiant Tinted Moisturizer is fantastic. This is the first tinted moisturizer that I had ever tried that worked for my skin, and I still love it. It's a cult classic. It hasn't been reformulated, but it has recently, they expanded the shade range. It is now available in 16 shades, and it is a fantastic tinted moisturizer. I have been using it on and off for the last 8 years, maybe, ever since it originally launched. I use the shade Alaska. I've always used the shade Alaska, even when I bought it upon the initial launch. Very similar in coverage with the Tinted Serum by Trinny London, but it's less dewy. So this gives more of like a natural skin finish. This also has added sun protection in it. I don't really like to rely on makeup products for my sun protection. I do recommend using a separate sunscreen underneath every single day, no matter what, but it is nice to have that extra dose of SPF. It can't hurt, right? So I love this. Again, it doesn't oxidize, like the color doesn't turn weird on me throughout the day or anything like that. If I do use this, same with the Trinny London, I like to skip moisturizer. So I don't want to overload my skin with moisturizer since my skin can get pretty oily. So if I know I'm going to be using this, I will just use my serums in the morning. I'll do my cleanser, my vitamin C, my hyaluronic acid, my sunscreen, and then I will throw this on and I'm good to go. This with the Nars Soft Matte Complete Concealer on areas where I need more coverage. Chef's kiss. Very, very, very great product. Next up, we have the Giorgio Armani Cushion Foundation. I think the official name is My Armani To Go Cushion. They do have a couple of different cushion formulas depending on where you are in the world, but this is my favorite one, and annoyingly enough, this is the hardest foundation for me to find out of the ones I'm mentioning today, and it's also probably my favorite. This is one of the best foundations I've ever used. And I call this like my magic eraser, because whenever I apply this, it's like anything I'm self-conscious about on my skin just magically disappears and my skin just looks like my skin, but perfect. I love to apply this with a brush. In the cutaways, you will see me apply it with this Zoeva foundation brush, which I absolutely love. In a pinch, it also works really well with the applicator that it comes with. It has this really beautiful angled tip, and it really does a great job at delivering wonderful light to medium coverage. If I want more light coverage, I can actually just use a damp sponge. If I want lighter coverage and more radiance, I will use a damp sponge to apply it. But if I want more of like a light to medium coverage, a brush or the cushion applicator that it comes with does the job. Shade 4.5 is the perfect shade for me. But yeah, this is very, very hard to find. I used to be able to buy it in Canada, but in Canada, they only ever sold the full compacts. They never sold the refills for it. So over time, I was able to find the refills whenever I would travel to Europe. I had purchased Sephora refills from Sephora France. I had purchased refills from the airport before. I had purchased refills from Douglas in Germany in the past. Selfridges online also sells refills for this, but it's almost impossible to find in its full shade range in the United States. At one point, I saw them on the Armani USA website, but only in 3 shades. I think they had shades 2, 3, and 4 on the Armani USA website, and then last time I had checked, they were gone completely. So I'm not sure what's going on with the availability of this. It's worth a try if it's within reach. I wouldn't suggest you jump through crazy hoops to find this foundation, because I mean, I don't want you to fall in love with it and suffer the same heartbreak that I suffer essentially. But this is one of my favorite foundations, wears beautifully. I keep hoping that they will release it out into the world and in a beautiful wide shade range, just how they do with the Luminous Silk foundation, but that day hasn't come yet. Until then, we just get really, really crappy availability and a sad selection of 6 different shades of beige, which is totally unacceptable. So please, Armani, if you're watching this, you're probably not, but please let the people experience the magic of this foundation. Since it's a cushion, it's also the most expensive, because in the cushion you only get half an ounce of product. So yeah, this is the biggest pain in the butt out of the foundations I'm talking about today. Last but not least is a foundation that I've talked about for a long time. It's still in my top 5 all-time favorite foundations, especially for summertime. Dior Face and Body. This actually, in terms of price point and in terms of shade selection, this takes the cake. This is available in 40 shades, and price per ounce, this is probably the best bang for your buck. It's probably going to be either this or the Nars. And this is fantastic if you have oily combination skin, oily skin, and if you have not tried this foundation, please try it. It is fantastic, especially if you've tried the MAC Face and Body and that foundation doesn't work for you. For me personally, MAC Face and Body doesn't look good at all. It breaks down after about an hour or 2 hours. It's not a foundation that I could ever blot with. If I try to blot away the grease, I just blot away the actual product. It's just not for me. This is so much better for my skin. I don't have to powder. I can go all day long without powdering this foundation and it just looks amazing. I might need to maybe blot my T-zone once, depending on how oily my skin is on that particular day, but this just really goes the distance. I've taken this on really hot and humid travel destinations, and it just looks beautiful. It works well with fingers, it works well with a brush, it works well with a damp sponge. Usually, if I want to wear this in the colder months, I like to apply it with a damp sponge because I feel like that gives me a bit more radiance. But in the summertime, if I just want a light coverage, I will use my fingers to apply it. If I want a little bit more coverage, I can build it up to like a medium coverage in some spots by using a dense foundation brush. It's just the best. And I have this in 2 shades because depending on the time of the year and the fake tan situation, but 2WO is usually a solid match for me if I've got a fake tan going on or a little bit of a natural tan in the summertime. In the wintertime, I do have to take shade 1N and mix them together a little bit to get it to suit my skin tone, but I love this foundation. These are my 3rd and 4th bottles of this foundation. I have loved it ever since it launched. And I feel like it's always going to be, as long as I'm going to have oily combination skin, this foundation will be in my collection because it just really goes the distance for me. My friends with dry skin do not like this foundation. I think if you have more normal to dry skin, maybe stick to MAC Face and Body. That could probably do everything you need it to do, but for me, Dior Face and Body is so, so, so good. Those are my favorite bases that I love to wear this time of year. Please share your favorite base products for the summertime in the comment section below. I always love to read your comments and know what you're using and what you're loving. Not only is it helpful for all of us that are hanging out in the comment section, but it's also helpful for me down the line. It's nice for me to have different frames of reference from people's different experiences, so that whenever I have to give product recommendations in the future, I have extra data points and I can offer better advice. So that's it for me. I hope you're having a beautiful, beautiful day. Thank you so much for hanging out with me today and for watching this video, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.